The gubernatorial election in the state of Alabama is now well underway, and the former Chief Justice of Alabama, Sue Bell Cobb, is running to be the governor of Alabama. Now, she recently had a town hall with potential voters where she allowed them to ask her questions. Now, unbeknownst to her, someone showed up who cares deeply about progressive policy issues. That individual is Ashley Hudson, who also is the co-host of Establishment Exiles. So Ashley decided to ask her potential future governor two very basic questions. And Sue had what I think can be considered her Aleppo moment because her answers were embarrassing. Take a look.
As our gubernatorial candidate and as a Democrat espousing the values of progress, democracy, inclusiveness, I have two questions. One touches on something you just said about getting money out of judicial elections. My first question is, how do you feel about money in politics in general, campaign finance? Will you be taking corporate or PAC money? That's my first question.
And PAC money, I take money, but the deal is, and I'm gonna let you have another question, but can I answer that? Is that yes, I've taken PAC money. And not nearly what my opponents have taken, that's for sure. But yes, I've taken corporate and PAC money. But the question is it going to have an impact? Are they going to dictate, or am I going to be independent of that money? And I'm telling you, I will be as independent as any governor has ever been. On the issue of campaign finance reform, we've got to do something about Citizens United. Yeah. About Citizens United. Alabama used to have limits. We have no limits now. You know, I'll ask people, having come from the Doug Jones campaign, and they'll say, what's the limit? Is it 2,700? And I say, I know you're going to be disappointed to learn, but there is no limit. But federal, and I don't understand how federal has a limit and the rest of us don't, but Citizens United dictates a lot of that. And your next question.
Sorry, and my other question too, at the state level, would you be supporting a Medicare for All initiative? Medicare for All?
All right, Medicare for All.
Universal.
I'm going to have to be educated on that.
Single payer. Some states are trying to implement it. I'm wondering if at Alabama's level, it's something you would support.
I'm going to be honest with you. We are going to be. I need to learn more about that because I believe that that's a federal issue. But if we can get Medicaid expanded.
Yes. Gotta have that. That's the first step to that.
I cannot even put it into words what it would be if we could be.
I don't even know what to say about that. Wow. Just wow. So, let's get to the first part where Ashley asked her if she would be taking corporate PAC money. She said, yes, I will be taking corporate PAC money. I'm glad she was honest about that. Thank you for that, Sue. But she said, I assure you, it's not going to influence my decisions in any way, shape, or form. I will remain independent from corporate influence. Really, Sue? How are we supposed to believe you when the rest of the Democratic Party establishment is obviously doing the bidding of corporate donors? How are we supposed to believe you when studies have shown that money in politics is corrupting? A 2014 Princeton University study by Drs. Gillens and Page found that normal Americans have a statistically insignificant impact on policy outcomes, whereas economic elites and corporations, they do have an impact on policy outcomes. So how are we supposed to believe that you're going to be the lone exception here that won't be influenced by corporate money? We're not supposed to believe that. You're bullshitting us, Sue, and I don't think anyone's going to believe what you're saying. So I like the fact that Democrats have taken an unequivocal stand against Citizens United, but that's not enough. It's not like Citizens United marked the start of the corrosive influence money has on our elections. It goes back to the 70s with Buckley v. Vallejo. I mean, money in politics has become an issue over the last few decades that has basically ruined democracy in this country. So to just say Citizens United should be overturned, that's good, but it's not enough. It's not enough at all. It's like saying that Obamacare is an adequate substitution to Medicare for all. That's not the case. But getting to her answer on Medicare for all, Ashley asked her whether or not she'd support Medicare for all at the state level, and she said she didn't know what Medicare for all is. Sue. I don't believe you. Okay, I absolutely do not believe that the former Chief Justice, gubernatorial candidate in Alabama doesn't know what Medicare for all is or never heard of that. And she really gave us reason to not believe that she didn't know about that because she said, oh, that's a federal issue. Well, if you know it's a federal issue, then clearly you know what it is. And that's not what Ashley asked you. She didn't ask whether you think Medicare for all is a federal issue. She asked whether or not you'd be willing to do what other states are doing and consider Medicare for all at the state level. And she decided to play dumb instead in order to avoid Ashley's question. And she said, oh, the Medicaid expansion, if we could get that, that would be amazing. Of course that would be amazing. Of course. Nobody's denying that. But you have to understand that Obamacare alone will not suffice. Long term, it will not suffice. It was a Band-Aid. But it doesn't solve the healthcare crisis in America. Unless we have Medicare for all, people in this country, people in the state of Alabama will continue to go bankrupt and die. You have to get the profit motive out of healthcare. A Goldman Sachs executive recently asked whether or not curing patients is good for their profit motive or something along those lines, something just outrageously scandalous. You cannot have a healthcare system where profit is the guiding motive. You have to take the profit incentive out so we care more about delivering healthcare, not profits to health insurance companies and healthcare providers. So this was one of the few town halls where I really was scratching my head, because usually if you ask a Democrat about Medicare for all, they'll, do this tap dance around, I'm about really focusing on defending the Affordable Care Act currently, so I don't want to focus on Medicare for all until we really can make sure that Obamacare is safe. She just straight up said, you know what? I don't know what that is. Playing dumb completely. Nobody believes you, Sue. You know what this is. If you don't know what Medicare for all is, honestly, and you were being genuine there, you shouldn't be running for governor. How can you register as a Democrat, run to be a governor for the Democratic Party, and not know about a policy that over 75% of the party's base wants? It's unacceptable.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.